Now, John Harbaugh, speaking of going down the aisle, is now the head coach of the New York Giants. This feels very look the part, right? Like John Harbaugh seemed absolutely like the sort of guy the Giants would want to hire. They rolled up to his crib with all the people. And the stuff that's leaking out about this is hilarious. Listen to this call. Diana Rossini tweeted this, okay? The Giants had John Mara, Steve Tisch, Chris Mara, Joe Shane, Tim McDonald, and Brandon Brown with John Harbaugh. I know who like three of those people are. One source familiar with the meeting noted Harbaugh's level of engagement, saying, quote, he never looked at his phone. He was locked in. It's a goddamn job interview. Are you serious? And that's an old man, by the way. Like, if you wanted to use that standard for a teenager, maybe.
Correct. Like, I'm addicted to my phone. That man is 62 years old. 63 years old. Like, I hope he's not as addicted to my phone as his phone as Jackson Dart might be. Like, yeah, that is a low bar to clear. Yeah. For John Harbaugh, but congratulations, he cleared it.
Yeah, this whole thing with him is reminding me of a line. I can't remember where I read this, but it was about war, and it says that generals are always fighting the last war, right? So, like, for example,
I like that.
At the airport, we go through all the rigmarole that we go through, and by the way, I'm okay with it. I'm not saying stop. But it is to prevent something. It's the last war. Like, I don't think the next frontier of this is at the airport, right? But we got to fight that war, though. Like keep on doing it. But we're fighting the last war. Okay. Yeah. I think there's something somewhat analogous to hiring the 64-year-old head coach under these circumstances. I don't have a great answer for you for why exactly it did not work in the end in Baltimore. However, this was an outfit that blew a lot of games, right? They did a lot of things that if their coach had been a different person, they might have been trying to get out of there a little bit sooner. It's very similar to what I said about Tomlin. Tomlin got to quit. Anybody else would have got fired after that last loss they had. The Giants are not, this doesn't feel like Andy Reid, right? Because Andy Reid, at least you could argue, was like this offensive visionary who was at the point of basically retooling what it was that he had done, like a comedian redoing his act, came up with this new offense that was much more like a college offense that worked with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, we're about to start having to ask some questions about Andy Reid's old ass now, as we go into the future. But the excitement about getting John Harbaugh feels a little misplaced to me. I think he's been a very good coach. I don't know if that means he will be a very good coach.
I completely agree with you. And you don't want to be ageist, but there is it's a young man's game.
Yeah.
We were talking, like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is a crazy person, and he is sleeping at the facility sometimes and grinding long hours and doing all these things and joking about when was Christmas? Right. I don't know. I don't know if that's what John Harbaugh is still doing. And that's not to say that maybe he needs to and work smarter, not harder and all of that. But I think it's so many coaches get hired and then you find out, oh, you can't do the job.
Yeah.
You were where you were as a coordinator, but you can't handle the pressure. You can't handle the media. You can't handle the game day situations, whatever the case may be. John Harbaugh can do the job. So you think you're not going to be embarrassed by it. But what just happened with Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
I hated the Pete Carroll hire at the time. And I remember going back and forth with Colin about it. And it was he's like, Pete Carroll's a great coach. I'm like, I don't know that I'd hire a guy that old to try to relate to a 23-year-old. It strikes me as a risky thing to do. And so can John Harbaugh coach? Will he embarrass you? Of course not. But is it the best possible thing to maximize? If you really believe in Jackson Dart and you have Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors on rookie contracts, is it the best possible thing to maximize the most valuable time of Jackson Dart's contract? I have a very hard time believing that it is.
So I think the question about Dart comes down to how you feel about Monken, right? Because, hey, he's the guy that coordinated the offense where Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson, 2-time first team All Pro with him and some unreal numbers. Now, Jackson Dart is not Lamar Jackson. Let's be clear about that.
Right.
But if you think that he's a good guy to work with quarterbacks, and there's a fair point to have there, then maybe Harbaugh is the guy because he's also the guy. Mock is not going to be anybody's head coach. So this could be your steady option as offensive coordinator, perhaps. My overall question about the Giants really is, how good is this roster? Because one thing that John Harbaugh's never really had to do is try to do more with less. That's just never been the situation that he's had. I know the Giants have all those guys that can rush the passer, but I feel like this is a do more with less situation if they're going to get this done.
Yeah, but like, let's think about that though. Like, if you have Thibodeau, Burns, and Carter who can all rush the passer at an elite level,
well, we'll see about Carter.
Yeah, at the yes, fair enough. But at the end, it looked better. Malik Neighbors, when he played, was a stud. Like he looked like I was like, okay, well, he's awesome. Like there's some like is he head on straight, whatever. Malik Neighbors looks awesome.
His head seems to be all perfectly straight. He looked around and was like, "What is this bum shit y'all got me stuck in?"
Yeah, that's right.
Like he seemed like the new AJ Brown. Like y'all see this, right? All right then. Okay then.
So if you've got a stud receiver and stud pass rushers, I just have doubts about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's like, I've been playing football this way my whole life. Well, congratulations. Now you're in the NFL. I mean, you can't just be getting concussions and then coming back from your concussions and playing the same way and lowering your head into 250-pound linebackers who run a 4.4. It's going to happen again.
Hey, how about I got doubts about him even if he doesn't do that? Like I have not been nearly as impressed with him as I think. There's a desire, again, what's the point of dogging out your new guy, right? They got this thing going where they had him and he was handing the ball to a white dude. You know how excited they get, man. You live up here. You've seen it. You've heard it around the office with the cats that run the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they love that, right?
Yeah.
But like there's the idea that I see Jackson Dart and I'm like, oh, I think this is definitely, no, this isn't if you took a job that had Drake May. This isn't if you took a job that had Caleb Williams or Jayden Daniels. Like, I don't think that he's a player of this caliber. Like we saw CJ Stroud. How about this? We saw CJ Stroud look excellent. And now we're out here asking the questions about him that we're asking. And I would be much more sold on CJ Stroud from what I saw of him than I am of Jackson Dart.
I agree completely. Easier to move on, I guess, from Jackson Dart if you get there and realize he's not the guy because it's a late first-round pick. It's going to be harder to move on from Cam Ward. Like, whoever gets the Titans job, you're probably invested in Cam Ward for 2 full seasons. You probably don't have to be as invested in Jackson Dart for that long if you're Harbaugh. Also, again, Harbaugh, 63 years old. You don't want to sit out a year. So it's like, okay, they got deep pockets. He probably got $15 million a year or more. Maybe the numbers have come out. I apologize if it hasn't. I missed it. But got a ton of money, cashed in, live in New York City. Winnable division, I guess. Like Philly dysfunction, Dallas dysfunction, Washington, we'll see. Like winnable division, New York City, a ton of money, a decent amount of talent, and you roll the dice on Jackson Dart and your guy Todd Monken. Maybe the best job available is the job you just left. Right? In Baltimore. So of the other 8 jobs that are open, is there a job better than the Giants job? If you're taking one this cycle, I would say no.
I would argue the Steelers job is the best job just because you're going to get the time. Like as a job,
you've gotten the time.
Is it the best team? Is it the best present day situation? That's a different question. But the best job, the one where I bet you're going to get 6 or 7 years, right? I don't know how bad you got to do to not get those 6 or 7 years.
Right. We've never seen it. They're probably that job also probably was not available to John Harbaugh, given the Ravens Steelers.
Fair.
Dynamic.
No. But you had the right point. Like Woody Page once told a joke that after he got divorced, he said he was going to marry the richest woman that he could find. and so he married his ex-wife. Sometimes that's the way it plays out. By the way, how bad must that situation in Tennessee be? Because I think Cam Ward should excite you. Like that should be we got this part straight. And I don't hear anybody talking about wanting to take that job.
Listen, if you're right about Cam Ward and you've got a great quarterback talent in a winnable division with a top 5 pick and good cap space, then yeah, it should be a great job. I don't know. Cam Ward's best highlights felt unsustainable, and there is just no talent there.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Is the subtotal situation?
They're like you've got Tony Pollard. Like, what? I don't want Tony Pollard.
Quote of the year: "If we keep it at a buck, we ass."
yeah.
Like that's that. And he's the young guy who's walking in, just like, bruh, what are we doing?
No, which is probably my favorite part of his rookie year, which is like, okay, at least he's smart enough to know it, and he clearly is very gifted physically. But sometimes there's so little around you that it's hopeless.